I'm going to be doing some deck building and showing you my siege, attack questing, muster Gondor deck. And it's a contract deck for the burglar's turn. You cannot include attachments in your deck. Setup. Choose 14 different item or artifact attachments from your collection and shuffle them together. This is your loot deck. Flip this card over and place your loot deck face down under it. The active location gets +1 quest point for each attachment attached to it. Forced. After you travel to a location, attach the top card of your loot deck face up to that location as a guarded objective. If that attachment has the guarded X keyword, ignore it. When the active location is explored, you may put each guarded attachment on that location into play at no cost or add it to your hand. So this is a good way to get cards that some people might not use so much because they're guarded. And here's the different cards that I have for my loot deck. I have about 20 different options that I take with me and put in the best ones for the scenario of the game we're playing. And about half of them have the guarded keyword. Some of them, like the Rivendell Blade, are only in there if there's a person playing with Noldor Sylvan characters. And here's ones that I have, little extra ones. If we're playing with Hobbit cards, I have Sting, Aragorn, Sword That Was Broken, Black Arrow for playing with a ranged character, Bow of the Gladrim, Raiment of War, Elven Mail, Magic Ring. And for the heroes, I have Legolas. He's a 9 threat tactics hero. 1/3/1/4 noble Sylvan warrior, ranged. Response. After Legolas participates in an attack that destroys an enemy, place 2 progress tokens on the current quest. And if it's on that, if you have an active location, it goes on to the active location. So there's one of the main cards that I have for putting progress onto the quest. For the mustering, I have Prince Emerhill. He's an 11th threat, 2/3/2/4 Gondor Noble Warrior. Combat action. Spend 1 resource from Prince Emerhill's resource pool to search the top 5 cards for your deck for an ally who shares at least 1 trait with him, and put that ally into play. Shuffle your deck. At the end of the phase, if that ally is still in play, shuffle it into your deck. Limit once per round. And the third hero is Varagond. He's a 10 threat tactics hero, the 0144 Gondor Warrior, Sentinel. Lower the cost to play weapon and armor attachments on Baragon by 2. So there's the heroes. It's a mono leadership. And this deck is built specifically for playing the Siege of Gondor. That's a siege and attack, siege questing. And for the events, I have a straight shot where you can exhaust a weapon attachment to choose a non-unique enemy with 0 defense and discard the chosen enemy. The cards that will trigger that is in the loot deck. There's a card that makes an enemy gets -2 defense, and I have an ally that when it comes into play, you give a enemy -2 defense. So I could exhaust that weapon that gives the enemy -2 defense and then play the straight shot. Feint. Combat action. Choose an enemy engaged with the player. That enemy cannot attack. Hands upon the bow. Exhaust a character you control with range to immediately declare it as an attacker and resolve its attack against an enemy in the staging area. It gets +1 attack during this attack. So that Legolas to try to destroy enemies in the staging area and put progress on the main quest. Quick Strike. Exhaust a character you control to immediately declare it as an attacker and resolve its attack against an eligible enemy target. And then the best card in the game is the Blade Mastery. Choose a character. Until the end of the phase, that character gets +1 attack and +1 defense. You never know when you're going to need just one more attack or defense. Behind strong walls. Action. Ready a defending Gondor character. That character gets +1 defense until the end of the phase. Keena's Lances. This is a good card to have when you're playing multiplayer. Reduce the cost to pay Keena's Lances by 1 for each card worth no victory points in the victory display. Add Keena's Lances to the victory display, then choose 2. Add 2 resources to a hero's resource pool. Draw 3 cards or reduce your threat by 4. This is the only card I have in my deck for threat reduction, card draw, or resource generation. So that's the events. Now we're going to go over to the allies. The 2 cards that I have in this deck that are only because it's a siege and battle quest deck is I have the Vassal of the Windlord, that when you quest with it, you don't have to discard it at the end of the phase. And it's cost 1 and it gives you 3 for questing in battle. And the Winged Guardian is similar, except for this is for siege questing, and it's got 4 defense. So you can quest for 4 with it, and you don't have to discard it at the end of the phase because it didn't block. And I wouldn't have these in the deck if it wasn't for siege and battle questing, because they're not traded with Prince Emerhill. Though I would put him in if I couldn't find any other cards that are better. And the rest of the cards in this deck are all eligible with Prince Emerhill. We have the Gondorian Spearman. That's a 2-cost tactics ally. 0, 1, 1, 1 Gondor Warrior Sentinel. Response. After Gondorian Spearman is declared as defender, deal 1 damage to attacking enemy. And 1 card in the loot is the Spear of a Citadel. That deals 1 damage to attacking enemy. So if you attach the Spear of a Citadel to the Gondorian Spearman, you can deal 2 damage to the enemy when it attacks. I have the Honor Guard. That's a 2-cost tactics ally. 0, 0, 1, 3 Gondor Warrior. Response. Exhaust Honor Guard to cancel 1 point of damage just dealt to a character. Valor Response. Exhaust and discard Honor Guard to cancel up to 5 points of damage just dealt to a character. This is the only card I have in there that has to deal with damage. I don't have any cards here that heal damage, so I try to cancel the damage before it can be dealt. Or you use character cards like Quick Strike to destroy it before it can attack. And I have Defender of Ramus, a 2-cost tactics ally, 0, 1, 4, 1 Gondor Warrior. Grimbold, 3-cost tactics ally, 2, 1, 1, 2 Rohan Warrior. Combat action. Discard Grimbold to choose an enemy engaged with you. That enemy can't attack that player this phase. I have Azan Silverbeard, 3-cost tactics ally. 0, 3, 2, 2 Dwarf Warrior. Response. After Azan Silverbeard participates in an attack, destroys an enemy, spend 1 resource to deal 2 damage to another enemy that shares a trait with the destroyed enemy. Any player may trigger this response. I have Marksman of Lorien, a 3-cost tactics ally. 0, 3, 0, 2 Sylvan Warrior. Ranged. Response. After Marksman of Lorien enters play, choose an enemy. That enemy gets -2 defense until the end of the round. So that's the card that works with the straight shot. Knight of Gondor. Knight of Minas Tirith, 3-cost tactics ally. 0, 3, 1, 3 Gondor Warrior. If each of your heroes has a printed tactics resource icon, Knight of Minas Tirith gains response. After Knight of Minas Tirith enters play, choose an enemy in the staging area. Engage that enemy and exhaust Knight of Minas Tirith to declare it as an attacker and resolve its attack against that enemy. So this is a card that can draw enemies out of the staging area during the planning phase to reduce the threat in the staging area. Elfhelm, a 4-cost tactics ally. 1, 2, 2, 3, Rohan warrior. Action. Spend 1 resource from a Rohan hero's resource pool to put Elfhelm into play from your hand under your control. At the end of the phase, discard Elfhelm if he is still in play. Derwine, 4-cost tactics ally. 0, 1, 3, 3, Rohan warrior, sentinel. Action. While Dorwin is defending, spend 1 leadership resource to cancel a shadow effect dealt to the attacking enemy. Any player may trigger this action. Defender of Karendros, a 4-cost tactics ally. 1, 1, 0, 3, Gondor warrior. Defender of Karendros gets plus X defense, where X is the 10 digit of your threat dial. Limit plus 4. Valor. After Defender of Karendros is declared as a defender, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. And we have Boromir, a 4-cost tactics ally. 1, 3, 1, 4, Gondor warrior. Boromir gets plus 2 defense when defending against an enemy with engagement cost higher than your threat. Response. After Boromir takes any amount of damage, ready him. And the last card is Bjorn. He's a 6-cost tactics ally. 1, 3, 3, 6. Bjorning warrior. Action. Bjorn gets plus 5 attack until the end of the phase. At the end of the phase in which you trigger this effect, shuffle Bjorn back into your deck. Limit once per round. Another card that would be good in this deck would be Thicket of Spears. That you choose a player and all enemies cannot attack that player. So in some games I put it into this deck. So you can see about the siege questing. We've got the Winged Guardian that's got 4 defense. Defender of Ramus that's got 4 defense. Defender of Karendros that the starting threat is 3 for the 10 digit. So that's 3 defense. Derwine is 3 defense. Bjorn has 3 defense. Baragon has 4. And for battle, Legolas has 3. Prince Emerald has 3. Knight of Minas Tirith has 3. Marksman of Lorien has 3. Vassal of the Winglord has 3. Bjorn has 3. Boromir has 3. So this deck works perfect against those type of quests. So thanks for watching and have a great day. And if you're going to be playing against a regular quest, it's best to play with a deck that has willpower, because this deck only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 allies that have willpower, and a total of 7 characters, including heroes, that have willpower. So the max you can quest for is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the other Gondor deck that I am showing works perfect with this deck. And I'm going to be playing this deck on its own and showing you against the quest and showing you how slow it can go when you have low willpower, and how quick you can go when you have willpower and attack.